Good evening and Chag Purim Sameach. Happy Purim. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Welcome as we celebrate Purim together. You may or may not be familiar with the portrait that I have chosen to mimic this evening by Magritte, a portrait called The Son of Man. I tell you, everything is looking very surreal to me right now, pun intended. Tonight we read together from the Megillah, an abbreviated Megillah, an abbreviated text of the book of Esther. And you know, one of the most frequently mentioned and a hallmark characteristic of Esther and a feature that sets it apart from every other book of the Hebrew Bible is that God's name is never mentioned in Esther. Esther never says God, never says Lord with reference to God. Prayer is not even mentioned in Esther, but maybe only implied through the call to fasting. The name Esther in Hebrew means or comes from the root meaning hidden. But one of the great lessons of the book of Esther is that hidden doesn't mean absent. It's no secret that we are going through a tough time in our world right now, but even through trial, through challenge, through difficulty, through the questions of where is God, hidden doesn't mean absent. God is not absent. And that is one of the great lessons that we will learn as we read from the book of Esther this evening. Just a couple of housekeeping items and words about how our evening is going to run, and then I will pray some blessings, and we'll all say amen to those blessings, and we'll be off to our reading. I hope you're in costume this evening. I wouldn't know because I can't yet see you. And so costumes encouraged. Secondly, you are welcome to share as your virtual background a picture that you've taken of yourself, a family member next to your picture, your portrait of choice. And thirdly, after chapter 5 and before chapter 6, right in the middle of our reading, there are 10 chapters in the book of Esther. So right in the middle, everyone will have the opportunity to actually share your screen of a picture that you've taken of yourself next to your portrait. You will have permission from the host to share your screen. And we're just going to run down alphabetically everybody who's here in our Megillah reading and ask you if you'd like to share your screen. And if so, give a thumbs up and we'll give you the opportunity to do that. So that's everybody will have that opportunity this evening. With that, let's pronounce some blessings before Ross takes us out of the starting blocks with chapter 1. 3 blessings this evening. I invite you, even though we'll all be muted right now, invite you to say amen there in your home. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mikra Megillah. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us concerning the reading of the Megillah. And we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim lavotenu bayamim hahem bazman hazeh. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who performed miracles for our forefathers in those days at this time. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has granted us life, sustained us, and enabled us to reach this season. And we say, Amen. One more word before we start. What are we going to do for the boos for Haman and the yays for Esther and for Mordecai? Well, in chapter 2, that's the first chapter in which Esther and Mordecai are mentioned. And we're going to try something that may be mayhem and chaos, but hey, let's try it. We're all going to be welcome to unmute during the reading of chapter 2 and give our yays every time Mordecai and Esther are mentioned. Chapter 3 is the first time that Haman, and I hear you in your homes right now, is mentioned. And so in chapter 3, we're going to give you the opportunity to unmute and give boos for Haman. If it's utter craziness, we may just need to mute everybody, but we're going to try it in the first chapters in which all of those names are mentioned. After that, hey, use the chat, say yay, say boo, use, if we have the clap hand feature enabled or thumbs down, use those. If you made signs, as I know one or two did, that say boo or yay, hold up those signs. It may be a more quiet Purim in our homes, but no less spirited, I hope, by our responses to the heroes and the villains of the story. With that, I'd like to invite Ross Anderson to unmute, and we begin with chapter 1 of the Megillah. Purim Sameach.
Chapter 1. King Ahasuerus had a huge kingdom that spanned 127 provinces. One year, he gave a 180-day banquet for all the important people in his kingdom. When that was over, he gave a 7-day feast for all the commoners to attend. On the last day of this second party, the king called Vashti, his queen, to come before him and all his friends so that he could show off her beauty. She refused, and he became exceedingly angry and embarrassed. Then the king asked his wise men what should be done to her since she disobeyed the king. Memucan told him, "What Queen Vashti has done is not only wrong against the king, but also will cause trouble in the whole kingdom. Once the word gets out, every woman will disregard her husband's wishes, and there will be chaos in every family. You should issue a royal decree that Vashti is never again to enter the presence of the king. Also, let the king choose a better woman to be queen. This way, all the women everywhere will respect their husbands properly." The king agreed and did what was proposed. He sent dispatches to all parts of the kingdom, proclaiming in each people's tongue that every man should be ruler over his own household. Did I do all right, honey?
Thank you, Ross. Chapter 2, the Wallace family. And now, everybody, we should give everyone permission to unmute for the yays for the heroes mentioned in this chapter. And let's see how it goes.
We will try to be as entertaining as Sir Anderson. The King's Civil Council proposed, let a search be made for beautiful young virgins for the king and bring all of them to the harem at the citadel of Shushan. Let them be placed under the care of the king's eunuch, Haggai. Then let the girl who pleases the king be queen instead of Vashti. This advice appealed to the king, and he followed it.
Mordecai, yay! Lived in the citadel of Shushan. He was a Jew of the tribe of Benjamin. He had a cousin named Hadassah, yay! Whom he raised as his own child, as her parents had died. This girl was also known as Esther.
Yay!
And the king's order and edict had been proclaimed. Esther, along with many girls, was brought to the citadel of Shushan and put under care of Haggai. Haggai took special interest in her immediately and began giving her beauty treatments and special food, as well as the best place in the harem. She had not revealed that she was Jewish because Mordecai had forbidden her to do so. One by one, the girls went before the king. When Esther's turn came up, the king loved her more than any of the other women. He happily made her queen instead of Vashti, and he gave a great banquet in her honor. And she continued to keep her nationality a secret from all.
During this time, Mordecai was sitting at the king's gate, and he found out about a plot to assassinate the king. He told the queen, who in turn reported it to the king, giving credit to Mordecai. When the report was investigated and found to be true, the two traitorous officials were hanged on the gallows. All this was recorded in the book of the annals in the presence of the king.
Wonderful. Chapter 3, Mara Wiseman. And now get those boos ready as we hear a new name and a new character introduced.
After these events, King Ahasuerus honored Haman the Agagite, giving him a seat of honor higher than that of all the other nobles. All the king's officials knelt down to him, for the king had commanded this concerning him. But Mordecai not kneel down. Every day the royal officials at the king's gate asked him, "Why do you disobey the king's command?" And every day he refused to comply. So they told Haman about it to see what he would do, because Mordecai was a Jew. When Haman saw that Mordecai would not kneel down, he got so angry that he decided to devise a plot to kill not just Mordecai, but all of the Jews. Haman had lots cast in his presence to decide what month the Jews would be destroyed, and the lot fell on the month of Adar. Then Haman said to King Ahasuerus, "There is a race of people scattered throughout your kingdom whose customs are different from everyone else's, and they do not obey the king's laws. It is not in the king's best interest to tolerate them. You should issue a decree to destroy them, and I will put 10,000 talents of silver into the royal treasury for the men who do the deed." Trusting him, the king agreed, but told him, "Keep the money and do with the people as you please." Soon after, dispatches were sent throughout the kingdom with the order to destroy, kill, and annihilate all the Jews, young and old, women and children, on a single day, the 13th day of Adar, and to plunder all their goods. A copy of the text of the edict was issued as law in every province and made known to the people of every nationality, so they would be ready for that day.
Chapter 4, I invite the Clayman children to unmute for chapter 4.
When Mordecai learned of all that had been done, he tore his clothes, put on sackcloth and ashes, and went out into the city wailing loudly and bitterly. In every province to which the edict and order of the king came, there was great mourning among Jews, fasting, weeping, and wailing. When Esther, maids came and told her about Mordecai, she was in great distress. She sent new clothes for him to put on, but he would not accept them. Then she ordered them to find out what was troubling him.
So the eunuch went out to Mordecai
Yay!
and listened to the entire story. Mordecai,
Yay!
he should urge Esther
Yay!
to sue for mercy from the king to not destroy the Jewish people. Once Esther,
Yay!
he told the eunuch to go back and tell Mordecai
Yay!
that she could not approach the king without being summoned because it was against the law.
Yay!
When Esther
Yay!
reported to Mordecai,
Yay!
came back this answer. Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place. But you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have to come to royal position for such a time as this. Then Esther sent this reply to Mordecai. Go gather together all the Jews who are in Shushan and fast for them. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my maids will do the same. After 3 days, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish. So Mordecai went away and carried for all of Esther's.
Chapter 5, the Heil household.
After her fast, Esther
Yay!
put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the palace, facing the throne. The king was sitting on his royal throne, and when he saw her standing in the court, he was pleased with her, and he held out to her the golden scepter that was in his hand. So she approached and touched the tip of his scepter. Then the king asked, "What is it, queen? What is your request? Even up to half the kingdom, it will be given you." "If it pleases the king," she replied, "let the king, together with Haman."
Yay! Boo, boo, boo.
"Come today to a banquet I have prepared for him." So the king and Haman went to the banquet. Esther
Yay!
had prepared. As they were drinking wine, the king again asked her, "Now, what is your petition? It will be given to you. And what is your request? Even up to half the kingdom, it will be granted." Esther replied, "My petition and request is this. Please let the two of you come tomorrow to the banquet. I will provide for them. Then I will answer the king's question." Haman went out that day happy and in high spirits. But when he saw Mordecai at the king's gate and observed that he neither rose nor showed fear in his presence, he was filled with rage. Nevertheless, he restrained himself and went home. Calling together his wife and friends, Haman boasted to them about his vast wealth, his many sons, and all the ways the king had honored him, and how he had elevated him above other nobles and officials. "And that's not all," he added. "I'm the only person the queen invited to accompany the king to the banquet she gave. And she has invited me along with the king tomorrow. But all this gives no satisfaction as long as I see that Jew, Mordecai, sitting at the king's gate." His wife and friends said to him, "Have a gallows built 70 feet high, and in the morning ask the king to have Mordecai hanged on it. Then go with the king to the dinner and be happy." This suggestion delighted him, and he had the gallows built.
To the book of Esther already. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to our Zoom manager, Howard, and he is literally just going to go through our meeting and all the participants and ask you if you have a screen to share, a picture that you'd like to share, and give a thumbs up, and we'll give you time to do that. Howard?
Okay, here we go. Starting at the top of my list, Ben and Mara, do you have a screen that you want to share, a picture or anything? Okay, we're going to spotlight you for everyone, and there you go. All right, Ben, lean forward a little bit. That's better, I think. Yeah, okay, good deal. Is anything else?
He's out.
Looks great.
Now we know where the shortage of toilet paper.
That's why everybody was out of toilet paper. Okay, we're going to go to the next person. Carolina, do you have anything you want to share on screen? I cannot hear you. So let's try this, folks. If you do have something you want to share, a screen or a picture, go ahead at the bottom of this of your Zoom screen under reactions and give a raised hand so I can see that you want to share something. That'll probably filter out some people who don't want to. So go ahead and raise your hand if you do want to share. I think it'll go quicker that way. All right, Jamie, let me spotlight you. Jamie, you're going to have to turn your, okay, you're going to share a screen. Go for it. Beautiful. Look at that.
Wow.
Nice.
That came out great.
Very nice.
People feel free to comment.
That was great. I want to see it again.
We're going
through a list here.
That's okay.
All right. Heather Kazdan, please go ahead and share, or if you want, I can spotlight you. There we go.
All right. This is, hold on, sorry. All right, there's 4 pictures. We have Mila. Whoa.
Nice.
Ivy.
Adorable.
They're big now. Leora, sorry, this isn't actually a piece of art, but she posed like this.
That's great.
And then
That is so cool. Everyone, we're going super informal in this part. So any comments and feedback, go for it.
Okay, so now we'll go over to Heyman. Whoever's listed as Heyman there, I'm going to spotlight you. Feel free. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice. Ooh.
Nice.
Impressive.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh, man. Lovely.
Cool.
beautiful.
Very nice.
Wow.
Oh, Asher. Look at that horse.
Wow.
Awesome.
I thought you stopped playing with that horse, Asher.
With the tallies.
Okay.
There you
Ooh,
go.
a double.
Nice.
This is my favorite one.
Yeah.
Thoughtful.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Very good.
Wow. That's very good.
Oh, goodness gracious. Unique.
Great.
Thank you, Heyman. Thank you, Wexlers. All right, Carolina, we're going to spotlight you.
Let me see what I can do, okay?
Yeah.
I am not much of a technology person. Can you see what I'm showing?
Yes. Well, we can see you.
Okay, but you cannot see what I'm trying to show.
No.
Well, so I'm Miss Peacock from the clue.
On the bottom, click on share screen at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then look for
Share
this.
screen.
Okay, click on the one that you want to share and then click share.
Here.
Yeah.
And share. There you go.
All right. Here it comes. There it is.
Oh, Oh, yes.
That is
Oh,
me.
how about that? That's nice.
In the
Thank you, guys.
library.
Ooh-wee.
Very nice. Very good.
Thank you, Carolina.
Yeah, guys.
Okay. Let's see who else has their hand up, wants to share something. I see. Okay, Daphne, let me spotlight you here. There you go. Nice.
Throw earrings. Very
That's-
nice, Daphne.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
Fritz, you're a spitting image.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Oh, dear, just cracking me up. That was
It's
funny.
lovely.
Is that Fritz?
That is. That
Yep.
is
We'll
Fritz.
never know.
Well done. Well done. It looks like somebody from Season with a beard.
Do the dance, Fritz. Come on.
Here he goes. You got the music.
Oh, it's all right.
That's adorable.
Too funny.
Fantastic.
Like the singing rabbi.
Wow.
All right. Thank
I
you.
could
guys.
just watch
Funny.
this all night.
Seriously.
This is great.
All right. We're going
We do have one as well, Howard.
Yes. All right. Put your hands up if you can. We'll get to you for sure. Trent, Selah, and Tyron. Let's get the spotlight on you. All right. I have to put the video on there so I can spotlight you. There you go.
Did that come through?
Yes, we're seeing it.
All right, so that's one.
Wow. Wow.
Beautiful.
Lovely. Lady with an ermine.
Oh, there's another.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That is so awesome. Look at
Excellent.
that. That's cool.
House of Cards. Oh wow.
And then we have the last one.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
Oh, that's good. That's awesome.
Full stop.
Brilliant.
Wow,
Lovely.
that's funny.
We do need an album.
Ross, did you say you have one?
I do indeed.
All right.
Unfortunately, what I do not have is the ability to raise my hand on this old version
All
of
right.
Zoom.
Not a problem. We got you.
I come from a previous century, apparently, but this is this may be best introduced by my lady. Yes, of course. There we are.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Wow.
I love this.
Edmund Blair Layton. It's called The
cool.
Accident.
Oh,
Wonderful.
good job.
Yeah.
I love those onlookers there.
Oh, yeah.
Those puppets. That's Ari? No.
Yeah, it is.
It is Ari. Yes, yes.
Nice.
Very nice.
Thank you, Ross and Stephanie. Okay, who else who may not have the ability? Okay, is it Deanna? Deanna, I think I see your hand up.
Yes,
Let's,
we
go
have
ahead.
two.
Okay, pictures.
I don't think I could even got them in picture form, and I've never shared my screen before, so I hope this works. I'm going to give it a shot.
Give it
Let me
a shot.
see. I'm going to hit share screen. And is this it? Is this? This
At the
is
bottom. Yeah. Pick the one you
let's
want to
see.
share, and then click
Okay.
share.
And then share.
Yeah. You got it. It's coming through.
So,
There it is.
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry,
all right.
I meant to do this.
There you go.
Oh,
Okay, there's
yeah.
one.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was so cute. And
Wow.
Noodle did it on the first try. He didn't even budge. He just totally knocked it out first try.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That
You
is
got the right dog there.
fantastic. And you got the color schemes. Wow.
Right, we tried. And then the other one, let's see, is, can you see that?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
I love it.
Is that all his hair?
Nice.
It's beautiful.
Oh,
Excellent, excellent.
Okay, so I stopped sharing. How do I stop
I'm so
sharing?
glad to see your kids.
Thank
And all the
you.
kids.
All right, I think Rabbi Seth has something he wants to share here. Let's get you going here. Rabbi Seth, spotlighted. There you go.
Here.
Oh, very good.
That came out great.
Wow, Lena.
This is Christina's World by Andrew Wyeth.
Yes.
Then
I
we
asked which one's the painting.
Yes,
then we
exactly.
have Tali. Oh wait, Tali. I saw this was a popular one tonight. There's Tali.
Wow, beautiful. Wow.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
wow.
Look was perfect.
And then we have
Mark keeps coming across saying,
an Andy Warhol here.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That is hilarious.
It may not, but there it is.
Well done.
Very well done.
We have one more of Rachel. Where else would she be? But
Oh,
look at
yes,
that.
yes.
That's really cool.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
and I'll show you the still that my daughter Lena helped me accomplish.
Wow.
Yes.
That's really
Love
good.
it.
Wonderful.
That is great.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
Very
Perfect.
Slowly.
All right, if there's anybody else who has something they want to share with the group but hasn't been able to raise their hand, text me right now and let me know so I can spotlight you and we can work with you to get that done. Yeah, when I say text me, I mean use the chat box to text me. Right.
In the meantime, would everybody be willing to share some of these on the Facebook closed group page so we can see them again?
Oh, that's Emily. Very nice.
All right, I think we've got to the bottom of the list of people that want to share. Thank you, everyone. That was wonderful.
Thank you, everyone. So cool. Wow. Creativity off the charts. We're going to finish the book now with beginning with chapter 6, and I'm going to invite Daphne to unmute and continue with our reading.
That night the king could not sleep, so he ordered the book of the record to be brought in and read to him. It was found recorded there that Mordecai had exposed the 2 officers who had conspired to assassinate King Ahasuerus. What honor and recognition has Mordecai received for this? The king asked. Nothing has been done for him, his attendants answered. The king said, who is in the court? Haman just entered the outer court of the palace to speak to the king about hanging Mordecai at the gallows. His attendants answered him, Haman standing on the court, in the court.
Get that off.
Bring him in, the king ordered. When Haman entered, the king asked him, what should be done for the man the king delights to honor? Now, he thought the king was going to honor him, so he answered the king. For the man the king delights to honor, dress him in the king's best robes, put him on one of the king's best horses, with the royal crest upon them, and have one of the king's most noble princes parade him through the streets of the city, proclaiming, this is what is done for the man the king delights to honor. Go at once, the king commanded Haman. Get the robe and the horse, and do just as you have suggested for Mordecai, you, who sits at the king's gate. Do not neglect anything that you have recommended.
So Haman robed Mordecai and led him on horseback through the city streets, proclaiming before him, "This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor." Afterward, Mordecai returned to the king's gate, but Haman rushed home, numb with grief, and told his wife and friends everything that had happened to him. His advisors said to him, "Since Mordecai, you cannot beat him. You will be ruined." While they were still talking with him, the king's eunuchs arrived and hurried Haman away to Esther's banquet.
Thank you, Daphne. Before chapter 7, hot off the press is a picture of Jacob, I believe. Are we ready to share that one?
Right ahead and share it.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Can you see us?
Oh, so cute.
What are you for? There he is.
That's
So
amazing.
Jacob and I'm Queen Esther. This is the untold Queen Esther's son, Prince Jacob.
He looks great.
Go Jacob.
Say hi.
So handsome.
Jacob.
Very nice.
Chag Sameach.
Happy Purim.
Happy Purim.
Happy Purim.
People.
Thank you.
Chapter 7, the Simpsons household.
There we go, and start video.
Okay, got it. Shh. All right, get out of line. All right, go.
So, the king and Haman went to dine with the queen. And as they were drinking wine, the king asked, "Queen, what is your petition? It will be given you. What is your request? Even up to half the kingdom, it will be granted." Then the queen answered, "If I have found favor with you, O king, grant me my life. This is my petition. And spare my people. This is my request. For I and my people have been sold for destruction and slaughter and annihilation." King Achashverosh asked, "Who is he? Where is the man who has dared to do such a thing?" Esther,
Yay!
adversary and enemy, is this vile Haman. Then Haman was terrified before the king and queen. The king got up in a rage and went out into the palace garden. But Haman, realizing that the king had already decided his fate, stayed behind to beg Queen Esther for his life. Just as the king returned from the palace garden to the banquet hall, Haman was falling on the couch where the queen was reclining. The king exclaimed, "Will he even molest the queen while she is with me in the house?" As soon as the word left the king's mouth, the guards covered Haman's face. Then one of the eunuchs said, "A gallows 75 feet high stands by Haman's house. He had it made for Mordecai." Spoke up to help the king. The king said, "Oh no, I can't see." The king, I can sort of see. The king said, "Thank you very much." The king said, "Hang him on it." So they hanged Haman on the gallows he had prepared for Mordecai. Then the king's fury subsided. Yay!
Great.
Good job, Simpkins.
How do I?
Awesome, you guys. Emily, chapter
All
8.
right. The same day, King Ahasuerus gave me, Queen Esther,
Yay!
the estate of Haman, the enemy of the Jews, and Mordecai, my cousin, was given the king's signet ring.
What?
The king had reclaimed from Haman, and I, Esther, owned over Haman's estate. If it pleases the king, I said, and if he thinks it is the right thing to do, overrule the evil plan to destroy the Jews in all the king's provinces. I cannot bear to see disaster and destruction befall my people. King Ahasuerus replied to me and to Mordecai, write a new edict that grants the Jews in every city the right to assemble and protect themselves, to destroy, kill, and annihilate any armed force that might attack them and their women and children, and to plunder the property of their enemies. The appointed day is the 13th of Adar, and forward it to every province of the king. Mordecai, presents wearing royal garments of fine linen, and don't forget, he had the ring too. And the city of Shushan held a joyous celebration. For the Jews, it was a time of happiness and joy, gladness and honor. In every province and in every city, wherever the edict of the king went, there was joy and gladness among the Jews, with feasting and celebrating. And many people of other nationalities became Jews because the fear of the Jews had seized them.
Thank you, Emily. We're rounding the corner to chapter 9 and then a short chapter 10, but our reader for chapter 9 is Carolina.
Yay! When the day came around, the enemies of the Jews had hoped to overpower them. But now the tables were turned and the Jews got the upper hand over those who hated them. No one could stand against them because the people of all other nationalities were afraid of them. And all of the king's nobles and the king's administrators helped the Jews because fear of Mordecai had seized them. He was prominent in the palace. His reputation spread throughout the kingdom, and he became very powerful. Jews struck down all their enemies with their sword. In the citadel of Shushan, the Jews killed 500 men. They also killed the 10 sons of Haman. But they did not lay their hands on the plunder. The number of those slain in the citadel of Shushan was reported to the king that same day. The king said to the queen, the Jews have killed 500 men and the 10 sons of Haman in the city of Shushan. Now, what is your petition? Well, it will be given to you. What is your request? It will also be granted. If it pleases the king, she answered, give the Jews in Shushan permission to carry out this day's edict tomorrow also, and let Haman's 10 sons to be hanged on the gallows. So the king commanded that to be done. The Jews in Shushan came together on the 14th day of Adar, and they put to death in Shushan 300 men, but they did not lay hands on the plunder. Meanwhile, the remainder of the Jews who were in the king's provinces also assembled to protect themselves and get relief from their enemies. They killed 75,000 of them, but did not lay their hands on the plunder. This happened in the 13th day of Adar, and on the 14th day of Adar, they rested and made it a day of feasting and joy. Mordecai recorded these events, and he sent letters to the Jews throughout the provinces of King Ahasuerus. near and far, to have them celebrate annually the 14th and the 15th days of Adar as a time when the Jews got the relief from their enemies, as a month when their sorrow was turned to joy and their mourning into a day of celebration. He wrote to them to observe these days of feasting and joy and giving presents and food to one another and gifts to the poor. Haman, who had plotted against the Jews to destroy them and had cast the poor, that is the lot, for the ruin and destruction. But when the plot came to the king's attention, he issued written orders that the evil scheme had been advised against the Jews that should come back to his own head, and it did. So these days are called Purim, from the word poor, and all the Jews took upon themselves to establish the custom that they and their descendants and all who joined them should observe these 2 days every year in the way prescribed and at the time appointed. And these days of Purim should never cease to be celebrated by the Jews, nor should the commemoration of these days die out among their descendants.
Thank you, Carolina. To close us out with chapter 10, the Wexler family. We're not hearing your audio for some reason, Wexlers. It might be because you're hanging from the ceiling. I'm not sure.
There we go. And now? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Acts of King Ahasuerus' power and might, and the high honor of Mordecai.
Yay!
Are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Media and Persia? Mordecai
Yay!
was second in rank to King Ahasuerus, and he was great among the Jews and popular with a multitude of his brothers, for he sought the welfare of his people and spoke peace to all his people.
Yay. Can we have a hand for all our readers this?
Yay! Clap, clap, clap.
Shared a picture, a hand for everyone who took, got in costume and shared the pictures. Thank you, everybody. The book of Esther is really a story that takes us from weeping, lamentation, fasting, distress, to deliverance, salvation, rescue, and joy. It reminds me very much of that one verse in Psalm 30 that says, weeping may stay overnight, and that's really what the Hebrew word means there. It may lodge temporarily, is what that word means, but joy comes in the morning. That is really the story of Purim. That's the story of our people, the story of our past, the story of our present. That's the story of our Messiah. And so here and now we continue to look forward to, and move toward that ultimate deliverance to which Esther points. And it's a nice thing that 1 year after this pandemic began, we're marking a morning of joy. Purim was our last gathering in person together. And here just before Purim, we were able to announce we'll be coming back together incrementally beginning next month. So we can relate in a very real sense to that joy coming in the morning. Avinu Shebashamayim, you are deliverer, you are redeemer, you are our salvation. We thank you once again for the deliverance that you accomplished long ago. We thank you for the deliverance that you offer us, every person here and now. And we thank you for the experience of it fully and beautifully in our Messiah, Yeshua. I pray that for each one of us, this would be a day of joy and of gladness. And I pray that you would continue to see us, to see all Israel, and to see all those who call upon your name, the name of Yeshua, our Messiah, through. In his name we pray. Amen. Purim Sameach, everyone. We can go ahead and unmute and fellowship for some time.